Today we're going to be looking at a pork butt. When we're looking for a beautiful pork butt, I always like to identify this muscle right here, which is called the collar. You can kind of see that little feathered look. That's the extension of the pork loin. The pork loin comes in here, attaches to this. It's a very great marbled piece of meat. I always like to look for a nice, big, long one because that's like the money muscle in the barbecue world. I look for a nice fat cap. I like to target about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch. If there's a little bit too much, we'll trim off a little bit of that. Also like to look for nice, beautiful color. I'm going to look at the meat side here, and I'm going to look for any kind of fat that I don't like, any kind of what they call glands, and I also identify a little bone chip right here that if you smoke that and pulled that, that might get into your pulled or chopped meat, and somebody might get that in the tooth. No good. So always kind of look at your back side here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to smoke this for probably 7, 8 to 9 hours, depending on your smoker you're using, okay? Whether it's a pellet smoker, electric smoker, charcoal, indirect smoker. What we're going to end up doing is pulling it for pork or chopping it, whatever you like, either chopped or pulled. So we're going to hit it pretty liberally with salt. This big piece of meat can take this salt. And then we're going to hit it with this smokehouse rub. And again, you can use any rub. You got a great rub at home that you want to use, go ahead. If you want this more savory, put a little thyme or rosemary in your rub. You want a little more heat, add some more cayenne or some chilies. Again, I'm going to coat this pretty good because it can take this rub. It's a big piece of meat. So this is all beautiful. We're going to let this sweat for 45 minutes to an hour. And what I forgot to mention is I like the size of this pork butt because that way I can develop some really nice bark on the outside before I wrap it up with my butter mixture. A smaller butt might get done too quick and you can't get that whole beautiful bark on it. So this is a beautiful, it's probably about 8.5 to 9 pounds. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes to an hour. You can see that meat's starting to sweat. I got a nice, really beautiful, even seasoned pork butt. So we're gonna get a beautiful bark on this. I have this set up with my hot side on one side, my cool side over here. So this is indirect smoking. So we're gonna take this butt, and I'm gonna take the thickest side, which is this side, right here, directly next to the fire. I want to protect that beautiful collar, that pork collar, because it's a little, even though it has internal marbling, it's a little, it's not covered by fat. So I'm going to put that side right there. Take a look at it. We're going to start spritzing. Now in here, this spritz, I have a little apple juice, Worcestershire, a little brown sugar, and a little vinegar and some salt. We're just going to give it a spritz here. We're going to start doing this about every 30 minutes until we reach an internal temperature of 160 degrees, and then we're going to move on to our next step. All right, now we're going to get our foil ready so we can wrap our pork butt with our butter mixture. So what I do here, I have 2 pieces of heavy-duty foil, and what I'm going to do is fold these together once, twice, 3rd time's the charm. Right there, 3 times, okay? We have a little wind today, so I have to kind of hold her down a little bit. Now what you do is you take it, fold it back. Now you got a big piece of foil. Because one strip like this, even if you did 2 strips together, they wouldn't cover that whole butt. You wouldn't get a good wrap. And then I'm also going to take 1 more strip, and I'm going to put it right in the middle there to reinforce that butt. It's a heavy piece of meat. We have a little bit of bone in there, so I don't want it to rupture and lose all that beautiful juice that we're going to use later. So we're at about 158, climbing, about 160, perfect. I'm going to give it one last spritz here, just because I can and I want to. Extra flavor is good on this big piece of meat. So we're going to take it off the grill. Take it to our, see that beautiful color we have in there? Now we set it right in the middle of that extra piece of foil. So it's butter, yellow mustard, brown sugar, little honey, and a little bit of apple juice. We're just going to kind of pour that out about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup right over the top. This is just going to give it extra flavor. Nice tight package again, like so, like so. Just like that. Now the big thing is when you're putting it back on the grill, during the next process, don't start moving it around on the grill. If you need to move it and spin it, pick it up and drop it. If you don't do that, you can rip the bottom and you're going to lose all that precious, beautiful pork au jus. We're going to put it back on our grill on the cool side. Now we're going to increase our temperature to 250 degrees after it's wrapped. It won't burn up this way because it's protected with all that beautiful butter mixture and foil. We're going to increase that temp to 250. Probably go another 3 to 4 hours. Check it again. We're looking for 198 to 203 internal temperature. All right, it's been about 3 to 4 hours after we wrapped it up, put that beautiful butter mixture in. We're going to check it with our instant read thermometer. Oh my, look at that. This is why we did that double wrap, because we don't want to lose all that beautiful juice. So now we're going to temp. You can see a little bit of that blade bone sticking out. That's a good sign that it's done. Color looks great. That's what I call probe tender. And I'm at about 199. The collar feels really good. The muscle underneath the blade bone is the last thing to get tender, and that is beautiful. So we're going to pull this. It looks beautiful. Our pork butt reached 199 internal temperature. We love the feel. Now we pulled it off the smoker, and now we're going to let it rest for an hour to an hour and a half so it really kind of mellows and gets nice and buttery tender. All right, look at these beautiful pork sliders. I did a little bit of kind of a pseudo pulled and chopped kind of mix. Again, I saved all that beautiful juices from the pork butt and defatted it and then added it to my barbecue sauce. I just have a little toasted slider roll and some pickles, keeping it very simple, letting that pork shine. And there you have it, a deliciously smoked pork butt for pulled pork barbecue. Enjoy.